have done and what we continue to do at my company. First of all, we have a site-wide diversity council at my location, and that's represented by employees from every function within our organization, at every level, from senior executives to shop workers, to represented employees across our workforce. So that's one manner in which we attempt to include in the implementation of our diversity strategy the entire workforce, or representation of the entire workforce. Secondarily, we think awareness is very important. As I mentioned, I think as a nation, we've made great strides in moving away from diversity being defined as issues associated with race and gender to a much broader definition of what diversity actually is. I think it's important that employees know and understand those broader concepts, and what we've done is over the past 4 years, as a matter of fact, 2010 is the last year of a diversity training program that when we implemented it 3 years ago, we intentionally titled it Culture 2010 because its focus was on culture and multiculturalism. I believe I mentioned earlier that we have a broad spectrum of cultures that make up our workforce. We want to expand into global marketplaces, so it becomes important that our people understand how to interact with, not only with one another within the confines of our own organization, but as we spread out into a more global marketplace. Participation in that training program is mandatory by every executive, by every employee, from the lowest level within the organization to the highest level within the organization. I'm pleased to say that we're right on track. The program has received over the last 3 years some excellent reviews, great feedback, and now our employees have a much broader understanding with respect to what diversity is, okay, but also they have a much broader understanding with respect to how they can more effectively communicate across cultures, and that at the end of the day brings positive results to the entire organization.
Anybody else?
I think a lot of companies also, they're realizing there's a need for mentors within those diverse groups. Mentors. So, for instance, we do have so many different multiculturals in a company, but if they don't feel they can relate to anybody and follow them, what happens? A lot of the time they don't retain them. And I think a lot of companies, from what I'm hearing, they're finding that they need to do a better job at getting the mentors that they can associate with. Like, for instance, a female manager who's Hispanic, regardless of what she is, let's just say Hispanic, who's she going to identify with in that company if there isn't anybody else like her who's maybe above her and willing to take her under her wing? It doesn't have to be another female Hispanic. But if there isn't a mentor for that person, how are they going to advance in their career? I know when I was in corporate America, I was really pretty much the token Latina, you could say, in most of my companies. I'm very happy and being so, and confident with that, and did quite well, but I always felt very alone. I never had a Hispanic mentor, male or female. So I really had just to rely on sink or swim type of thing and make it happen for myself. Now, I've truly been, because of my parents being immigrants, seeing what they did when they got to this country without a college degree, I knew I could do it. There was no choice in my household. You didn't come home with a B, or you didn't go away to school unless you had straight A's, that type of thing. So it was innate in me, but for a lot of other people I find, and I just got questioned for someone doing their thesis on advancement of Latinas in the workplace, and she told me the same thing, but I told her there weren't any mentors. She said that's what most of women in leadership roles are saying, there are no mentors. So I like to ask that question to a lot of people, and I'll ask you, did everybody have a mentor? It doesn't matter what your background is. Did everybody have a mentor?
Not until recently.
So a lot of people, I'm finding that's a big thing coming up, that there's a lack of mentorship. And I've had big companies, I'm not going to say any names, say, oh yeah, we have this mentoring group in place. I'm like, yeah, but is it there because it's just there, because it looks good to be there? Or are your employees really taking advantage of the system and utilizing the resources? And a lot of them tell me, well, you know what, I think they're scared to ask for help because then they feel it reflects against them. So that's a big part of the culture too, where you're scared to ask. But I think a lot of companies hopefully are going to do a better job in mentoring with mentorship programs.
Do you want to add something?
I just wanted to share with you that we have a mentor program, and thank you, Diversity and Inclusion. The mentor program is, I've been both a mentor and a mentee. I had actually been a mentor at least 2 times, maybe 3 times, before I decided, you know, I became a doctor and I was never a patient. So I should probably be a patient, and it was absolutely the most enlightening experience for me, because even though I remember telling my mentees, just call me, because it was supposed to be mentee driven, right? Just call me. I'm not an ogre. I won't yell at you until you go away because you're a peon. You know, just call me. And then when it was my turn to call, because you're always separated by 2 levels.
Yes.
You got 2 levels above you that you get paired with. I was like, I picked up the phone and put it down. Picked up the phone and put it down. Okay, practice. Okay, let's practice. All right, so this is what I thought we were. Okay, and I swear it was the most difficult thing I ever did, and I felt so goofy about it.
But I have a question for you. The mentoring, I think the biggest problem with mentoring, you don't have clear objectives. Some folks think that a mentoring is about, let me call you because I have a personal beef with the company or my manager. And I think that's where mentoring falls apart.
Right.
You gotta have clear objectives. What is it you want to accomplish?
Right.
You want to learn about the company's culture, you want to advance your career. You, as the employee, got to be clear on what you want out of your mentor. Otherwise, the whole relationship falls apart, right?
Right, and our program requires, if you want to apply for this program, you have to state what your top 3 objectives are.
That's great.
Oh, that's good.
Just as an add-on, you make a very, very valid observation with respect to mentoring. As a matter of fact, I recall a few weeks ago, USA Today ran an article on successful women corporate executives, and many of those women executives interviewed for that article was very open in acknowledging that their mentors were in fact white males that were part of their organization. So that's to say, you know, don't dismiss a mentoring opportunity because your mentor, or there may not be available a mentor that represents someone that looks like you. Mentors come in different shapes and sizes, and all those other diverse characteristics that makes them who they are. So I think that's a very, very valid observation with respect to mentoring.
Sir, you had a question.
Well, I had a comment. Were you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a comment. I hear you talking about the company I work with. We publish things in 3 languages. We publish in Spanish, and we publish in English, and we publish in Vietnamese. And I've taken issue with that personally.